education sector in Borno has continued to attract government attention despite years of protracted conflict as a result of insurgency. This is a deliberate attempt at addressing the menace of out-of-school children and to engrave the culture of education in the psyche of its younger generations. Welcome to Borno Restoration. I'm Jessie Tafida. But first, let's bring you up to speed with Borno today. More than 70% of infants in Nigeria are denied the right to breastfeeding in their formative years. That's according to the World Health Organization, just as the federal government claims that about 80,000 child deaths are prevented annually through exclusive breastfeeding. Coming down to Borno State, 3 out of 4 infants are delivered at home. But the state government is concerned about the culture of giving birth at home.
The state government has done a lot in trying to establish health facilities. Government through her agencies, particularly the State Primary Healthcare Development Agency, that they have an outlet of educating the populace in ensuring that they avail themselves in healthcare facilities.
Another issue of concern to the authorities is how well do breastfeeding mothers in IDP camps know about exclusive breastfeeding. Hafsat Shehu, a mother of a 3-month-old baby, has no idea what the exclusive breastfeeding practice entails. She says, "I only breastfeed my baby whenever she cries. I sometimes give her water because it is believed that water strengthens the child's health more than the breast milk. But with this sensitization, I will ensure exclusive breastfeeding." Research reveals that about 2/3 mortality in infants occur as a result of malnutrition, which is closely related to poor breastfeeding practices.
We have been able to engage the government for them to invest in nutrition. Now, as a result of the effort of the government plus what the partners are doing, we have 58.9% increase. That's the present figure.
For over a decade, education for girls in the northern part of Nigeria has been impeded by continuous attacks from the Boko Haram insurgency. The Chibok and Dapchi school girls' abductions are clear examples of the several threats to girl-child education the region has been subjected to. As a result, many parents are afraid to send their wards to school. The United Nations International Children's Fund attributes the tendency for more girls being out of school to poverty, low perception of the value of education for girls, and early marriages. But these stakeholders, comprising of community and traditional leaders, head of schools and officials from the education sector, are here to advocate for more enrollment of girls into school.
Over the years, it has been noted from statistics that there is a huge gap. So our call is for all stakeholders to get involved. Stakeholders means the civil society, the parents, the government. Let's all put our hands together and ensure that the girl child has access to education.
The stakeholders insist that insinuations that Western education is forbidden, as preached by the Boko Haram terrorists, should be condemned and discarded.
Advocacy to stakeholders and also sensitization will also be building capacity strengthening for community-based structures such as SBMCs. Will also create safe space for girls.
When they say mapping, is to identify the areas in which the functions of this organization is going to be carried out. Despite the intervention, there are some areas that still are lagging behind. So you want to identify those areas that are lagging behind.
Government and all stakeholders must put all hands on deck to close down the number of out-of-school children, especially girls, and to give them a better future. It's almost 6 months now since members of Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, embarked on an industrial action to compel the federal government meet their demands. Little did students and other stakeholders in the academic environment know that this action will take almost half of the year. Now, the negative impact of this is a widespread of implication on the entire university community, students, parents, and thousands of families whose breadwinners operate businesses on and around the campus.
It's heartening. It is a national embarrassment. It is something that have challenged the very foundation of this country. Over 6 months that the academic staff and of course the university have been silenced and killed in terms of its activities because of this strike. It is not something that is good for this nation. As a people, 6 months on our university, our top tertiary institutions are closed and shut down, and we are okay. I think something needs to be done because in terms of its effects on the nation, it is disheartening. It is not something that we should be proud of as a people. I have colleagues outside of this country. We cannot discuss with them about our university system as we speak. This is because our universities are shut down.
Our children are suffering. We are appealing to authority to settle the matter with us so that our children will come back to their schools. We are with the children, we don't know what to tell them, we don't know what to do. Every day we see them at home, nothing doing, and they are all crying. We are all disturbed. We are appealing to federal government and also to settle this matter so that they will go back to school.
But this industrial action only affects institutions who are members of ASU. Interestingly, the Borno State University is not among such institutions. The 3-year-old Borno State University in Maiduguri is among those that have remained in session, sustaining academic activities with student intake quadrupling.
In our first matriculation, we matriculated about 647 students at the 2019-2020 session. 2020 and 2021 session, we slightly increased to that number. We admitted around 1,200 and something, a little above that figure. But surprisingly this year, 2021-2022 session, we have over 2,500 students. And this is largely attributed to the strike across the Nigerian universities, especially in the University of Maiduguri. So many students now opted to apply for Borno State University and having met the requirement of the JAM and that of the institution, we admitted them. Quite a good number could not gain admission because of the capacity that we are allowed to admit. And we have completely filled a full capacity of admission this year. The university is moving smoothly because of the better funding from the state government. The state government so far is apt in funding the university adequately. Normally, a nation is better off with a robust educational system. Now, if the educational system is sliding, definitely it will affect not only the quality of the country's administration, but even the quality of life in the country. Progress, economic development, and whatever that is associated, all the indices of the economy will go down. Now, it's only reasonable for the government to look at to sit down and passionately look at the demands of the academic staff and other unions that are associated with the tertiary institutions. We, the planners of the educational system in this state, just as you mentioned, we have taken into consideration of the long period of the insurgency and what had this insurgency had on our educational system. Two, we also see the yearnings of our teeming youth who wants this education, to be educated. And so the funding was adequate. And that's why we were able to run the academic session without hitches. Sometimes, especially running universities is not something that is easy. It is capital intensive, and then it needs commitment from the academic staff. And you cannot get the commitment from the academic staff unless you give them the primary and minimum demands that they have in terms of instructional material, in terms of their welfare, and in terms of conducive atmosphere. And the Borno State University has provided all these, things to the staff. And that's why you can see that the university runs without rancor. Our academic section move freely. And we just concluded our first semester examination, and we have now even brought out the calendar that students shall resume by September.
Its third matriculation ceremony with over 2,000 students, a development the students are happy about.
Do solemnly swear and undertake to pursue learning and knowledge diligently, to respect the laws and regulations of the university.
We are very, very grateful to all the executives of the school and our parents. We really appreciate their efforts. I promise to them that yes, I will come out with a very good result to them at the end of the day.
I'm feeling happy. Yes, and I'm very excited. When we finish all our schools successfully, I will read hard and I will not make them ashamed, inshallah.
I'm feeling very excited today. I promise that I will read hard to achieve all my aims.
Uplifting standards of the education sector in Borno has been cardinal to the administration of Governor Babagana Zulum. With this giant move to change the narrative of poor education in the state, residents believe that the Zulum-led administration has indeed become the envy of the Northeast region. With so much investment by the Borno State government in Technical Education and Vocational Enterprise Institute, I had a chat with the Commissioner for Higher Education, Science and Technology, Mustafa Malambe, and he says government would never relent in bringing quality education to the doorsteps of Borno's residents. Welcome to Borno Restoration, sir.
Thank you so much.
As the Commissioner for Higher Education, Science and Technology, can you talk us through what is the philosophy behind the massive investment in higher education, science and technology?
Well, actually, let me start by saying when Professor Babagana Omar Zulum, the Executive Governor of Borno State, came on board, he came with 10-pack agenda. Out of that 10-pack agenda, education is one of the 10-pack agendas. And then one of the objectives of the 10-pack agenda 1, Terminal 2, and Terminal 3. We are going to do that terminals, and then also because of advancement in technology, that's why we have the science and technology component aspect into the training. If you can see, if you go around, you see we have enough computers. We are trying as much as possible to see. We introduce technology, we introduce ICT in every thread, so that the students can have that ability to do the search. And because of the internet connectivity, the world is a global village, and then we are trying to give them that ICT expertise, so that when they get their ICT expertise, they can get job anywhere in the world, and then they can also be part of this one. And then for that, it means we hope our graduates can collaborate even with industries. Our graduates can have opportunities of getting grants somewhere. Our graduates can also have opportunity of patenting whatever they have done. And then that's the main reason why in the dealings we try to bring in local content into the issue. Borno is a home of culture. Borno is a home that has been there for 1,000 years. There are some of our cultures that is not part of the global village, and we are trying to encourage our young ones to use the ICT skills, to use technology to ensure that our cultures are also spread across the world.
Okay, now bring us up to speed. What are you planning to do in the future?
Well, we are trying as much as possible to ensure that we dominate the market with our products, and then we are also part of the ministry trying to also construct an innovation center. We are also trying to have a technology park where the products of those vocational training centers will state.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Thanks for your time on Borno Restoration.
Thank you so much.
And that's our package on this edition of Borno Restoration. Thanks for watching. I'm Jesse Tafida. Bye-bye.